Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. If you're new to, welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the button, click thumbs up, do all that stuff to help me out. So this is a weekly look ahead. I'm going to go over kind of where we are in the commodity cycle and how cheap this stuff still is. It hasn't really taken off in terms of commodities in relationship to the S&P 500 or Dow. I'm going to go over a couple of companies. Some of them are going to be uranium companies. Some are going to be in, oil. These are basically at breakout points or ones that have recently broken out and I think could potentially have some good movements. So these are the ones to watch over the next week or two or three. So let's take a look. Let's see what we have on this weekly look ahead here. So the first one I've got is the 100 years of commodity valuations. I just want to show you just how cheap it is down here. Keep this in the front mind. And this is probably 0.1 here. 0.1 is below all of these. This is what it currently is at, 0.0633. 0.1 isn't even on this chart. And this was at 0.05 down here. I mean, that is like down here. Guys, this stuff's free. I mean, my God. We could be buying at the biggest opportunity point of all time. Now, another thing to think of. If you look at this, now if we have a move like this, right? A move just like this, very quickly. This is 73, 74. This was, I'd say, 69 right here. So from 5 years, let's call it 5 years. If we go from this valuation, I'm going to call it 0.05, all the way to 0.9. So that's an 18 times increase of the commodity index. That is insane. Because if you're leveraged to that, I mean, this could be a 50x. No, that could be 100x in commodities pretty easily. So the opportunities here, I've never seen anything so large with the downside risk really taken out of it. So here's Camco. I just want to, I stepped back, did the charting on Camco. This is poking out through the top here. It broke through this channel here. Maybe it's going to hit the top of this guy right here. We might see a little bit more resistance, but if this thing moves a little bit higher, I think it's looking really good. Here's another chart kind of zoomed in on Camco. Somewhere in there, and it's definitely broken out. You might see this pull back a little bit and then go higher, because it's just a signature trait. They usually break out of these patterns. They pull back a little bit, and then it's cheetah speed higher. So get ready for a little pullback if it pulls back a little bit, but realize like this is the time to cost average in if you like Camco. QEP Resources, I wanted to show this one. It's right there, hanging out right before it breaks this high right here if you like QEP. If you see this thing break to the upside, that might be another good buying opportunity if it breaks this pattern here. So if you see it run higher, if you like QEP, I'd be adding a little bit of money into it. Here's what it looks like on another zoomed in. We do have a wick on the bottom. It may, if we have an up oil day, we may attack it. And you can see these wicks on the top. There's some sellers up here. So if you see this thing break and it goes through 250, 260, you could see a big up day blow through this resistance. So that's one to watch, at least. Here's Gran Tierra Energy. Someone had put this in the comments section, and it looks really good. And I'll show you when we zoom in on this, but look how far down this is. This is in the dirt. So if we zoom in on it, hey, look, it's the same as SM Energy. It's the same as QEP. It's the same as Core Energy. It's the same as all these ones that we've seen. Big volume stepping in, broke this downtrend. I would have been a buyer off this break. See how it breaks out and then back tests? I'm thinking the same thing with CCJ, a little bit. They break out, they back test, boom, higher. And notice this, big up day, and then the pullback in inside of it. This is momentum. This is a momentum change. When Michael Oliver, if you guys listen to him, he talks about momentum changes. This is a momentum change. This is what it looks like on a chart. Big moves higher like this with the big up days, and then the small down days. Basically, the momentum's changing. That is what we're seeing are the big up days in relationship to the small down days. He created a program or some proprietary information to trade this. I'm just looking at it in the charts and making the connection, just my own. So this thing, I mean, if it pulls back, I mean, this is probably a good one to get into if you like Grand Tierra Energy, or do some further research into it. Here's Reconnaissance Energy. Another person had recommended this on you know, in the comment section. I'm just saying, look, we can see that this was kind of in this channel here, going up and down, and it broke to the upside. So this thing's probably going to move quite a bit higher. So that's Reconnaissance Energy, RECAF. Deep Yellow. I don't think I posted this one before, but you can see how this one, you can see how in March this kind of got knocked out of the channel and then it comes right back. I like that, and that's something to notice. And then it broke out to the upside, and you can see once it breaks, it did like a little break, a little back test, and then boom, gone higher, cheetah speed. Encore Energy, again, broke out of this chart pattern. I'm just telling you guys, when they break out of chart patterns like this, you know, they break up, they back test, and it's like, you got to get in it because it's cheetah speed higher. That's what we're seeing. It broke out of this other pattern to the upside too. I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe it back tests and then maybe we go higher. I very well could. But I know looking down at the chart beforehand, we had a bullish engulfing. So this thing might pull back to the top and then boom, gone. Here's Next Gen Energy. Just showing you different ways to chart things. We've got this low here. So we broke down, now we're coming up. It broke out of this high here with a lot of volume. And we've got some resistance, you know, in here, we got resistance here, just from other previous highs. So maybe it'll come down and then try to break through higher. Global Atomic. This thing's in free running area, so to speak. There's resistance here. You can see this thing kind of pile up against it. It broke out. We've got this pattern coming up. It broke out of everything. And usually when this happens, I mean, this thing could substantially go higher substantially. I mean, there's nothing really holding it down. So it's free to roam and it's free to go. That's GLATF. Uranium Energy Corp. Just wanted to show we're in this big pattern here. It broke its pattern down here, so it's probably going to move all the way to the top side of this pattern, and then once it breaks through that resistance, you just got these guys going across. So that's got a lot of work to put in. But I just want to show you that one. SM Energy. Here's one. It's one of my favorite picks. I mean, it's gone up a whole bunch. We can see this downtrend here, and it broke the downtrend. So now it's just breaking through all of these resistances, which is there's a lot. So it's going to kind of move and step back as it goes up because there's so much stuff before it. Next, just to go over some ratios to let you guys know and keep in the forefront of your head, you know, gold to oil ratio at 39.5 is extremely cheap, and that's declining, which means oil is outperforming gold at the moment. Silver's at 76.5, silver's cheap and it's declining. Platinum's at 1.8, that is cheap and it's declining, which means platinum's outperforming. Copper's at 522, which is cheap, and it's declining. Now on the right-hand side, there's some ratios that are rising. Natural gas is underperforming oil. It's at 18, and it's been rising. And the Dow to gold ratio is at 16.3, and it's been rising. So that's my weekly look ahead here. You know, some of these, they're looking really good on the uranium side. They could potentially move quite a bit higher. What looks to be running into resistance is the overall stock market stuff. The S&P 500, the Dow, the technology sectors, they're going to slow down at some point. They are so overvalued that money, this is what I envision happening in the future. We're going to get a crash in those sectors. Those sectors are going to put a little bit of pressure on here, but not nearly the pressure that they're going to feel over there. If these dip, the commodity companies, That's when you cost average in, get your shares, and then that money over there is going to rotate into what we own eventually. So we're in the right spots at the right time at the right place. That's my opinion, and they're definitely the right valuation. That's for sure, just by looking at all these ratios that I went over. So be patient, know what you have, and I'm in it for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, up to multiple hundred times gains. That's what I'm in it for, because the valuations have never been this cheap in history. You need to understand that. You need to know that. And if you don't know that, continue to watch my videos, figure out the valuation portion first. The timing can come last. So, appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully this gives you a clear head for next week, gives you some things to look at and watch. And if you haven't, click the thumb up button, click the subscribe button, and I appreciate you guys listening. This is Finding Value.